Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My beautiful women of Qur'an now. I wanted to do this video because I want sisters to understand some of the chains that are holding us back that we may not even be aware of. SubhanAllah. SubhanAllah. So this is like I'm getting slides a little bit from the program, the marriage program that I'm doing, a 6-month cohort. Like for 6 months, we break it down and we look at so many different angles. For someone who is trying to get married, somebody who's already married, this is really a must course because it really opened your eyes to so many things. And so I'm just going to go over it very quickly. We're I think 4 months in. We have 2 months to go, August and September, and then a new cohort will open for another 6 months. But subhanAllah, the freedom coaching is where I do this in detail, in depth, with one-on-one with the client. The blessed relationship is mostly focused on marriage and relationships. And it touches a little bit on these on a more like global, from a global perspective, right? Not going too much into details. But there's so many chains that we have that we may not be aware of. So first of all, there's the chain of attachment style, which a lot of us don't even know we have, because we have two parts of our brain. We have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is only responsible for 5% of everything that we do. 95%, up to 95% of our actions and behaviors come from the subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is nothing but programming. Those are actions and thoughts, perspectives, beliefs that we have repeatedly ingrained into ourselves, full of emotions, and mostly in the first 7 years of our life, especially the first 2 years, where we don't have the ability to really analyze a situation, but we're just getting some messages emotionally. We are absorbing it and we're giving it a meaning to it, but we don't even know that's what we're doing. And so out of that came, 4 different attachment styles. So you have the secure one, which meant that in the first 2 years of their lives, they've had emotional presence from their parents or caretakers. You have the 3 insecure. So you have the fearful avoidant, who has had some attention and then no attention and then attention again. So that back and forth made them a little bit confused. And the fearful avoidant bounces between, wanting to deactivate and space and all of that, and also wanting connection. So wanting connection and running away from connection. So that is that attachment style. And then you have the other insecure, which is anxious preoccupied, that at first had some emotional presence, but then after that, it greatly reduced. So after that, it greatly reduced, and so they spend the rest of their lives trying to get that connection back. And again, it's subconscious. They don't realize that's what they're doing. They don't realize that a lot of their behaviors results from that. So, so you have anxious preoccupied, and then you have the dismissive avoidant. The dismissive avoidant in the first 2 years they didn't have that emotional presence from their parents. It wasn't there. So they don't really know how to manage their emotions, how to deal with the emotions. They believe emotions at the subconscious level, not at the conscious level. Again, the subconscious level in the programming, part of their beliefs is that emotions equal, harm, being unsafe. And so they run away from it. And what they do instead is that they overemphasize the intellectual, right? Overemphasize the analytical side of themselves. So these programmings, if we do not heal from them, it impacts our relationships. It impacts, our work. It impacts our career. It impacts everything, even our worship. It is impacted, subhanAllah. So this is some of the chains that we touch on a little bit in the marriage program because it makes a huge difference, right? And so when we also looked at needs, there's some needs. So these are the needs of the 3 insecure. Oops, went too fast. I think the needs of the 3 insecure. So anxious, preoccupied, dismissive, avoidant, fearful, avoidant. Understanding these needs that we have, if you are one of these 3, and then trying to fulfill those needs yourself, it will help you managing your expectations with other people. right? So this is just some of the things that we discuss in the marriage. We also discuss, of course, the foundation of marriage in Islam. What is marriage in Islam? How we should view as believers, how we should view marriage in Islam. And the whole theme is about marriage as an act of worship. But we do have to understand ourselves more than anything else, because this is what is going to impact our relationships with our spouse and with everyone else, actually. So that's one of the chains. Another chain that we're not aware of. So this is one that is subconscious, right? So we're not really aware of until we dig deeper. Another one is spiritual sickness that we may not even be aware of. And that's what we touched on briefly. We touch on the fact that you have a husband and wife, and we have to understand that if they don't connect to Allah, if they don't make their relationship, centered, having Allah in the center of their relationship, then shaitan comes between them, because all he wants is to break household apart. All he wants is to break families, because if you break a home, you end up breaking an ummah, right? So ummah are made of homes, of families. And so if you break a home, then you're on your way of breaking the ummah. And this is why when you have the divorce rate going up in the Muslim community, and you know the ummah is being weakened by it. And so shaitan is very much at the center of that. We know from a hadith how he praises the people in his troops that are able to push a husband to give the talaq to his wife, to pronounce divorce to his wife. This is one of the people in his surrounding that he will bring very close to himself, because that is what he wants. So if we're not aware of this, subhanAllah, he is involved, very much involved. And the other thing too is that he will also, hire people. When I say hire, meaning he will send the waswas into other people so that there's jealousy, and so that they go and, oh, I don't want these two people to be together. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through spiritual, the spiritual route to affect their relationship. And if we're not aware of that, again, those are chains that are holding us back that we're not aware of. So in the marriage program, we talked about the different types of sihr. I mean, not sihr, but the different types of spiritual sickness. So you have sihr of separation. You have other types of sihr, but this particular sihr is to separate a husband and wife. And we do have evidence from that in Surah Baqarah, Ayah 102. So it tells you how it's done. So many times the sahir will ask for the mother's name of that person. And they're going to ask for some form of DNA. They're going to try to do something and place the sihr next to the victim or mix it into their food and drink. And who usually does this? Somebody that you rejected, a suitor, someone who desires one of the spouses, a relative who's opposed to the marriage. Usually from experience, that is what, the people who are involved in this, because they are not God-fearing, they don't even know to go to Allah and ask for what they want from Allah. So they go into these evil ways. And some of the symptoms, you need to know symptoms for sihr of separation. Many times there's a sudden change. The husband is no longer attractive in your eyes. When you're away from the husband, you want to be with him. But when you are close to the husband, and vice versa, it's like, oh, you can't stand their presence. There's also another spiritual sickness that's called mas. That's when a jinn possesses a person. A jinn lover doesn't want the person to get married, doesn't want the person to be with anybody. He wants to keep possessing this person. And so there's a lot of situation where a jinn lover can come. And one of them is when we display our beauty, when we don't wear the hijab, when we are displaying our beauty, and we're not, we're taking off our clothes, we're not saying Bismillah, we're entering the bathroom, we're not making the dua. When we have extreme emotions, this is another way that the jinn tends to possess. And then also when we are involved with haram and all of that. And subhanAllah, there are some symptoms many times when you have a mess. There symptoms are like you may feel like there's crawling in your body. A sister told me like she feels like something is crawling in her behind, like she just it drives her nuts. You may feel that somebody's watching you. You may feel a presence. You may enjoy the haram, and then you find halal very hard to do, and you have dreams, right? So this is why understanding some of your dreams is going to be, subhanAllah, a very insightful way of understanding what's going on with you and breaking those chains again, right? So there's so many chains that we may not be aware that we have that we need to break if we want to thrive. Evil eye, the ayn is also very real. The Prophet ﷺ said it is truth, it happens. And subhanallah, we have in ayah 51 of Surah Qalam, they nearly destroy you with their eyes, So this is evil eye can bring, if you notice a lot of blockages, you start something, you apply to so many positions, one failure after the other, you're forgetting a lot, you regularly have headaches, constricted heart, like I said, you see a lot of failures, a lot of losses, blockages. Even in your dream, you like missing a flight. You go up and down. You go downstairs. Subhanallah, you just feel a bit. You can't even like put a finger to it, but you don't feel right. You could be a victim of evil eye. The ayn is real. And so when you understand that the evil eye is real, mass is real, sihr is real, subhanallah, you need to understand it so that you can protect yourself and know how to heal yourself if you are a victim. And so we also went into like the cure, some of the things that we could do practically to protect ourselves. Morning and evening azkar is going to be a powerful shield for you. You want to definitely make sure that you are, you know, how do I say that? That you are consistent with that. This is going to be a powerful shield as a prevention and as a protection, also as a healing. Also, reading Baqarah every 3 days is another powerful, powerful cure. And so you have all of these that we went over, but those are just us breaking the chains. We're just breaking the chains. And we talk about this in the marriage program, but we also deal with that one-on-one in the freedom coaching. The freedom coaching is not just, how to manage your emotions. No, it's really looking at every area where there could be chains so we can break them for you to thrive, right? So I also wanted to talk to you about dreams. So I told you how dreams could really give you a good insight into what's going on with you. So we know that I'm going back to this hadith here that when the day of resurrection approaches, the dreams of a believer will hardly fail to come true. And the dream of a believer is one of 46 parts of prophetism, and whatever belongs to prophetism can never be false. So this hadith tells us that if you are a believer, towards the end of time, it is going to be part of the believer lifestyle to see some true dreams, okay? True dreams, they are from Allah Azza wa Jal, and they are sent to encourage, to warn, or prepare you. They're not there to discourage you or to make you feel like really bad. No, they are there to really give you glad tidings or encourage you. They could be direct, meaning what you see in your dream is exactly what's going to happen, or they could be symbolic. Mostly they are symbolic, and they need someone to help you interpret it. What I'm going to talk about here is I'm going to talk about the symbolic ones, okay? So there are three kinds of visions: a righteous vision coming from Allah. They're like the distressful vision that's from Shaitan. Usually you wake up like scared, panicky, and all of that. That's usually from Shaitan. And then and you don't, when you have a dream from Shaitan, just spit 3 times on your left. Say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, and don't even think about it, don't talk about it. And they are the dreams from ourselves, like something that you did, maybe you were studying a particular topic and then you dreamt about that topic, that kind of thing. So we go over symbols, right, in the dreams. Many times for single ladies, if they see clothes, buying clothes or wearing clothes, it could represent a spouse of marriage. For a married person, it could actually show the status of their marriage, right? If a married woman sees herself getting married again, many times it could be a symbol of pregnancy, right? If her spouse gives her jewelry, it's also many times indicate a child. Toilet in dreams, if they're clean, because toilet represents your personal life. If it's clean, then it's good. If it's dirty, it indicates many times issues and problems. And if you see yourself cleaning in dreams, it's usually really good. Cleaning toilets, cleaning anything, it's usually good. It's like basically a relief. The car usually represents your life. And so if you are driving without obstacle, then it's good. But if you have to stop, you have tolls, police law, and things lost, etc., those show blockages. And if a man is driving you, it could represent that he will be your spouse. Satanic dreams, they are not to be interpreted. They should be ignored after seeking refuge in Allah. I mentioned that. And the dreams that indicate spiritual sickness. If you're being pursued by dogs, snakes, dangerous animals, falling, if you see yourself falling, if you see yourself reciting Ayatul Kursi or the last three calls, many times this indicates that you may be suffering from a spiritual sickness. And some dreams that indicate that you're healing is if you see yourself vomiting, if you see bad, dirty things coming out of your body, if you see yourself taking a shower or killing dangerous animals, this is usually victory, relief, overcoming the evil. So you could see how just, understanding dreams can really help you understand what's going on with yourself. So you see how this is tremendous. This is truly tremendous. I was blown away by the amount of knowledge that I gained in these different courses that I've taken this past year, especially. It just took my coaching to another level, and I'm ready to work with my beautiful sisters, on one-on-one or in a marriage program to actually look at all of these chains and blockages and see how we can overcome them together. Bi'idhnillah. May Allah grant us the tawfiq. I pray this was eye-opening and that it would give you some thoughts. This is actually really coming from the content from my marriage program. And, we go over steps to cope during difficult times. We go over a whole bunch of things. And this is what they have to do for next week is how do you cope usually? And how do you want to show up instead? Having a clear vision of how you want your behavior to be. This is going to be a step towards the right path. However, if you have a trauma or if you're insecurely attached, this is your conscious mind talking, you will still need to do some reprogramming for it to be consistent and permanent. Bi'idhnillah. Any good is from Allah, and mistake is from me and from the shaitan, and may Allah forgive me. I will see you in another video, inshallah. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.